ever let nobody trick you out your spot for nothing. You know, never take criticism from somebody that you wouldn't take advice from, or at least don't internalize the criticism. Of course, everybody's open to criticism and this, that, and the third, but don't let it mess up your emotion of what you got going on. Because at the end of the day, anybody could say anything. Anybody could send hate somebody way. Anybody could, say whatever, be whatever they want behind the screen type stuff, which is why, I don't even, yeah, but not everybody can speak on certain things. That's not, no cocky type stuff. That's not, no like free speech don't exist or none of that. But at the same time, a lot of people are not everybody gonna come from your background. So a lot of things are not for everybody to understand. Not everybody gonna understand my experience. Not everybody could walk in my shoes. So therefore, it was never for them to understand in the first place. Thus, not necessarily completely invalidating their opinion, but it's showing the effect that you got going on. If you take nothing else from this video, understand that as soon as you stop putting yourself number one, that's a minute that they won, And what I mean by that is, like I said, everybody can have an opinion. Everybody gonna be able to, say whatever, do whatever type stuff, less so do, more so say. But it's gonna be a million, maybe a billion people that's gonna talk, that's gonna whatever. Yet not even 1,000 of them, probably not even 100, is going to be able to amount to half what you're going to accomplish in life if you keep following your dreams. One, in part because people give up on their dreams early, and a lot of their hate stems from them really not being able to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish, whether that be they never had the resources to do such. Maybe a lot of people be having kids. That's happening now. Like, a lot of people be having kids and they really be messing their lives up in a way where, like, it puts a whole new, like, it turns everything up on their head. They can't do for self no more. And then they just don't be having the right people around them. Life happens at the end of the day. And two, being that out of all of those millions, maybe billions, trillions of people, none of them could ever truly be you. Folks can sit there and try to replicate. Folks can sit there, come from the same environments and have shared experience. Like, there might be folks that might be watching this video that I might have been through a real life situation with type stuff, and it might have impacted me and not them. Likewise, I can speak on something that I done been through in the past, and I can joke about it, I can laugh about it, I can whatever. And from the outside looking in, certain people can be like, how how you not tripping about that? How that's not bother you right now? And it's all because perspective is unique to everybody. Your past is gonna mold you. In the past, you'll find your perspective, and in perspective, you'll find purpose. And if your past is already unique to you, use that past to sit there and build to something better, to elevate to all of that. If you look in your past, or start with your past and then build to your purpose, nothing nobody should say should bother you. Simply because you understand that purpose being derived from your past will also be unique to you at the end of the day. So it's not meant to be understood by everybody. And with me, I got a smaller channel. Like, my channel probably smaller than small. Pause. Like, I don't want to sit there, act like, it's all these heights I done reached or whatever, but I still experience my own amount of negativity. And what's crazy is the positivity far away than negativity. And everybody that, might got something negative to say, 9 times out of 10 be offended by something. If you was offended by anything I say on my channel, it was meant to offend you, bro. So I would think about it, I really just see this folks showing their true faces, because the intent of these is not to sit there and offend people. It's not to sit there and this, that, and the third. It's to spread a message across. It's to sit there, it's a form of art. That's how I look at my vids. It's a form of art. So, that leaves typically my biggest critic being myself, and it's because these videos provide a challenge for me, like a real big challenge, boy. And it's so crazy because when I was a young boy, and I was 14, and I first started trying off with the YouTube stuff, I'm doing a real short stuff, nobody seeing it for real. Like, it came off so natural then, like, it just, like, it was like second nature. It wasn't nothing to be on vid. And it's like, through certain experiences, that part of me just died and just never really came back, and I never really got up out of that place after, certain events wound up occurring in my life. And it makes me have to really not necessarily try as in I'm trying to be accepted and none of it, but fit into that mold so that I can expand. It makes me like really have to go out of my way to try and do this YouTube stuff, to try and do this internet, because I'm not an internet type cuz, bro. Anybody that, knows me knows that, like, not everybody gonna know, what I've been through or whatever, unless I speak on it for real, unless, you was either directly involved or impacted. But and still, if you know me from my past, you know that, like, it's a huge transformation from where I was at to, what I'm trying to do with myself now. A lot of times I make it super, super, super tempting to just give up with this YouTube stuff, to just clear my whole channel, just move on with my life. And anybody that ever done been through something in their life and you done elevated beyond that point, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just this feeling whereas you just want the past to be the past, bro. You don't even want to address it. You don't want none of that, boy. Like, you just want to completely move on with your life, just never look back type stuff. And a lot of times that's what I be feeling, which leads to the feeling of unfamiliarity, but also not only the feeling of unfamiliarity, but the level of discomfort that comes with, being on YouTube, recording a video, whatever. And that's where purpose comes into play. That's where I gotta remind myself of my purpose. And initially I wasn't even gonna talk about this. This happened a couple months ago, but I didn't want to feel like I was taking advantage of somebody's vulnerable moment. I don't know the cuz, but and still I ain't want to jerk, cause I know exactly how it be. But a couple months ago, I found myself back in this court I used to be down at. Luckily, luckily I wasn't there for myself, but I done told myself never again. Boy, I ain't. Yeah, but if you from the P, 9 times out of 10 you might be knowing the area that I'm talking about, at least the courthouse that I'm talking about. But it's right off of 15th and Arch, boy. It's a little family court type joint. And I tell you, I hate that place, boy, but that joint known for real long wait times, bro. Like, they have you in that joint waiting upwards of 5-6 hours, no BS, boy. And even all the hearings 9 times out of 10 is scheduled for the morning. They got a bunch of hearings scheduled at the same time, boy, and just be having people waiting, wasting people time. Like, it'd be crazy. But I was sitting down in a lobby area. It's like a little lobby area, this little scene area, whatnot, that you could sit down in. And like I said, I done been through it before. I didn't went through all of the emotions when it came to that. So a lot of things go unspoken for me. Somebody don't even gotta forget just speaking, to me, just speak at all for me to understand exactly what they going through, exactly what they feeling in that moment. And it was a young boy sitting down with his family that couldn't have been no more than 2-3 years younger than me type stuff, like 16, 17 years old. And he was sitting there mad, bro. Like, I tell you, cuz was mad, bro. Like, balling his fist up. He had a mask on or whatnot, so I couldn't see his full expression. But, his family trying to talk to him. He not trying to talk. He not trying none of that, bro. And like I said, I know how that is, bro. So, one, I don't be one to sit there, be newsy and just be looking at people, because people don't be wanting to be seen in vulnerable moments like that. That's for one. And then for two, it put me back in a negative space. So, I don't like thinking about all that. So, I'm not really trying to pay him a lot of mind. But they wound up calling his family up, and he wound up coming back, bro. And by the time he came back, cuz was just bawling his eyes out, bro. Like, real life, like, just crying, like, uncontrollably, bro. And like, I done been there before, bro, so I know how it is. I do. And like, it was difficult to see. It really was. And luckily, by the grace of God, he had family there to comfort him. I'm guessing it was his mom's side, because I saw like mom, grandmom, brother, I'm guessing. But they was just all together. And eventually, I wound up I wound up sneaking on. They wound up getting on the elevator or whatnot, bro. Once he done calmed down a little bit, I wound up sneaking on the elevator acting like, I was going down for someone. Really, I just wanted to offer him and their family, just words of encouragement or whatnot. Needless to say, I seen myself in more heavy, boy. Like, that whole experience was just crazy, because it was damn near like looking into the past and the different circumstances. Like, I really can't explain it. But while we had a real brief interaction, I'm not tripping by it neither, because like I said, like, I done been there. Like, it's not really much to say in them type of situations, boy. He want him thinking his family, want him thinking me. But ironically, it was more so what he didn't say verbally that told me everything about the situation, rather than what he wound up saying out loud. And it gave me my why I go so hard with this YouTube stuff. Why I even do the YouTube stuff in the first place? Push past, all of, self-doubt and this, that, and the third. My purpose, to be that shoulder to crying that I ain't had when I was going through my situation. to be that person that people could sit there and look up to, or not necessarily because I don't want to be nobody role model necessarily. Like I don't like all that pressure on myself yet. At the least I want people to be able to see me for what I represent more so for than what I do type stuff. Somebody that not only made it out of this situation or made it past this, then, and third, yet embraces all aspects of myself. And in that is gonna open doors for the young boy that, might be stuck in this type of situation, might be stuck in the wrong crowd. It's destined for way more, yet can't see that for himself because the people around him want to keep putting him down. Like I done been through them type of situations, boy. This the weirdo thing to do. This and the third. I done been through all of that, boy. So I'm already know how it is. And those are the type of young boys I want to knock down barriers for. And I know it goes far beyond me. It's gonna be people after me, probably people that went through it before me. Like I want to break down barriers for everybody, boy. And I can only imagine if when I was going through what I was going through, at the least to resonate with, I ain't have a Meek Mill, I ain't have a Wallow, I ain't have and down to a Brick Street Man, like and though cuz lyrics, wasn't always the best type stuff, material wise, subject wise, it was more so he represented seeing somebody from around that area, rapping about the experiences and really going viral off of it, boy. Like it was an inspiration. And down to the LGBT quad, long live cuz as well, bro. Like a ride G's. I want to be to other young boys what they were to me to growing up. And it took me back to this Nipsey Hussle interview I was watching. If you don't know, I'm real big on Nip music, bro. Long live cuz. Like the legacy he left behind, bro, both in and out of his artistry, like huge inspiration to me. But he was basically saying in this interview, if the avenue you try and take doesn't make you feel a sense of discomfort, if it's not a burden to a degree, you're not taking enough risk, basically. And it made me realize that while it would be nice if everything came natural, stuff was just that easy, whereas, I ain't had to exude much effort or whatever, it would be cool, yet how much could I say I've grown if I haven't challenged myself? And how much can I say that I've challenged myself if everything come natural, if I never felt a sense of discomfort? And it makes me realize that while difficult, I'm on the right path. And that's why I gotta keep going. I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable with what I'm doing. It's showing that, I'm stepping out of my lane. And once I master it, once I make this impact, because I'm definitely gonna make it, bro. I'm gonna inspire my all that, bro. Once I do, it's gonna make it feel that much more earned. And that's really though none of us get to choose the circumstances that we given, nor the cards that we dealt, but we can control whether those circumstances are the reason that we're gonna stagnate or the reason that we're gonna branch out and do something positive in hopes that we can make better for the next generation. Remain humble, yet grounded in purpose. Always, always, always stay true to yourself, and everything else gonna fall into place. Allah, and be safe. I'm about to June.